Before time began, God created the prototype human. This creature was not smart, definitely not clever, and just an all-around loser. He would listen to my chem and smoke 305s, and one day God got fed up. He said, "Go, leave this place, and make your mark on the world below." So he did. Now in the year of our Lord 2025, that creature.
It's me. I'm primordial and unending. What's up, everybody? My name is Six. Oh god, that was so fucking YouTube. I'm gonna cut out all the fluff. We're reading Reddit posts today because I'm a fucking sellout. Specifically, I haven't read through them, but I picked out a couple like horror story-esque, like just the worst kinds of people, stories and stuff. God, I'm just awful at this without a script. Whatever, you get the idea. We're reading stories about just the worst people ever, and I'm going to give my commentary. Do you fucking mind? Here, say something to them. Say something. Okay, I haven't read through them yet. I just picked a couple that I thought seemed interesting. I scrolled through some comments and saw the first line. I was like, okay, this could be good. But the first one we have is horror stories from selling games to addicts. So a couple people now have asked me to make this post since I used to work in the games industry and also once in game retail. The retail is why they're interested in it. I worked for a year in a mall and a video game store after I had already stopped gaming. I saw a lot of gaming addicts and crazy things. Here are just a few of the soul-crushing true stories I watched unfold. One guy would pre-order absolutely every game on PS4 and bought nearly 100% of what he pre-ordered. He spent... Wait, do you not... If you pre-order, aren't you already buying it? Whatever. He spent thousands of dollars every year. He would phone the store on his lunch breaks from his job just to call and double check that he'd pre-ordered something. I mean, they don't know. He could be like a YouTuber who does achievement hunting and stuff, you know? Rest in peace, Achievement Hunter. Actually, no, they're back now. I don't know, that's a little rough. I don't think that's as weird, but I have a feeling they're gonna get worse. A regular customer who was just 19 years old at the time was totally bald already, extremely overweight, and I do not believe ever showered. I would actually throw pens in the garbage after he touched them to sign off on game trades. His nasty smell would linger in the store and on things he touched. Oh my fucking god. It's like you always hear stories about that dude, you know? Whether it's in a GameStop or you go to a game store for Magic and Dungeons and Dragons and Magic and Dungeons and Dragons. Why could I not say that fucking sentence? But the one who just smells like cheese and doesn't shower and their hair, if you wring it out, you could get olive oil from it. The fact that he threw away pens is fucking hilarious. Oh, there's more. What games did he buy? Perverted anime girl games exclusively, all purchased with his mother's money as he did not have a job. He was one of numerous customers like this, but was the worst. I saw grown men get into fights in the store about whether or not Call of Duty or Battlefield were better. Oh my god. Okay, so that dates this story a lot. Because, okay, so I remember, it was 2010s, maybe 2012, 2013. The Call of Duty Battlefield debate was huge. And god, I remember the constant back and forth, and now both of them have kind of fallen, but I remember, and this is during the golden age of them both, you know? So Call of Duty coming out with Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, MW3, Black Ops 2, you know, everyone's like, oh, Call of Duty's got this in the bag, and then Battlefield hits back. They've got Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, which is still one of the greatest games ever made and is just insanely beautiful, and then Call of Duty Ghosts came out. And everybody was it got that huge wave of just disgust. Everybody hated it. And looking back, it was a good game. That campaign was awesome. But everybody's like, Battlefield's got it. We won. And then they Millie rocked and left. I don't know, I don't think either of them won or lost. One of the employees in the store cheated on his wife and told the woman he was cheating with that his name was a popular video game character's name. He named all of his children after video game characters, later opened a business named after a video game. That gives me huge Christian vibes, I'm not gonna lie. At the time, he worked part-time at the store while his wife was full-time at some other job. He would platinum every game he bought, including Dark Souls and Demon's Souls. He was just in his 30s at the time, complete addict. For every midnight launch, there was this one kid who would show up 8 hours before the mall closed and sit outside the store every time. A lot of the people proudly stated they were calling in sick to work the next day or booked it off just to play the game. Okay, this proved to me that this guy does not game anymore, like he said, because back then, midnight launches were cultural, dude. I still remember waiting in line for hours when Black Ops 2 dropped. And it was, I mean, it's just something we don't have anymore. Everything's like digital, and which is a good thing. Like digital is, there are cons too, but like things are good. People that game today will never understand the excitement of lining up outside of your GameStop at 9 p.m. It's freezing cold, snow on the ground. You brought camp chairs and stuff, and you're so excited because the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim is dropping tonight, and you want to be one of the first to get it. People just don't understand it now. It's gone from the culture. Grown men having breakdowns and sometimes swearing at employees when there were no more collector's editions of whatever game available. Almost all of the female employees were stalked at least once by creeper gamer guys in their 30s. Often the mall refused to ban them for some reason. One of the customers who was big on the anime girl games lived with his mom into his 30s in a room adorned with anime girl pillows and statues. I found out years later he sexually harassed a woman at his workplace and led to her quitting. He would sit next to her and just breathe heavily. It's never the, hey girl, where are you from? It's just the Many times, wives, girlfriends, and mothers would phone the store and try to politely resolve a technical problem while their man-children yelled in the background. Usually something to the effect of, I'm switching to PlayStation or Xbox. A gaming addict employee in his 30s, obsessed with a Nintendo, was as childlike as you could imagine. He watched My Little Pony and made an event out of new episodes, which involved ordering fast food from Wendy's. I remember once when somebody made a 69 joke, he asked the manager what 69 meant. Oh. Men constantly tried to hide their gaming from their wives or GFs. Many of these men also had kids. More than once, one of these guys would buy a game and then come back minutes later to return it on the verge of tears. I kid you not, because his wife told him he had to take it back. Marry a woman who will allow you to enjoy your hobbies, and do the same for her. It's not that hard. It's like, all these men is like, oh, my wife, I hate my wife, ball and chain, yada, yada, yada. Why did you marry her if you hate her? And vice versa, why did you marry her if she hated you or didn't like what you like? It just, that makes zero sense to me. But, what do I know? I'm only a 20-something-year-old YouTuber who drinks out of a coffee cup with a letter his name starts with on it. One of the worst ones, which I will never forget. A child and his father came into the store. This was during the PS4 release and there were big shortages. It just so happened we had one in, so the dad says we'll take it and hands me the cash. I instantly see his kid's face turn to a frown and he says, but I thought we were going to get skates. His dad totally ignored him and triumphantly walked out of the store shouting, we got a PS4, while his kid just hung his head down. All he wanted was to go skating with his dad, and all his dad wanted was to stare at a screen and push buttons. On my mother, I BS you not, I've exaggerated nothing. That poor child. Oh, fuck me. I shouldn't have laughed. That's not cool. But also, fuck them kids. I mean, some of those, like, I didn't think sounded that bad. Like the midnight launch thing, I was like, you don't get it. You don't get it. Or I saw a grown man get into fights about Call of Duty and Battlefield. It feels like this person who's writing this, I mean, I definitely did see some horror stories, like the skates thing, but it also has a sense of like better than thou, holier than thou vibes. It's like, oh, I don't play games anymore, so everything you do is ridiculous. Next one. What's your most embarrassing gaming related story? It was probably in 2002 or 2003, and I was selling my copy of WWE WrestleMania X8 to GameStop. That's a fucking banger game, dude. I was 13 or 14 at the time, so I was fairly irresponsible. This will be relevant in a moment. The clerk opened up the game case and took the disc out to check it for scratches, and he noticed a brown stain of some sort on the case behind the disc. We both stared at it for a moment when it suddenly came to life, and what had to be about 100 ants scurried away from the brown spot. The clerk jumped and dropped the case onto the counter. I quickly grabbed it and shut the ants back in. I apologized and ran to the bathroom where I did my best sanitizing the case. The stain appeared to be some kind of soda, so it came off fairly easy. I still have no earthly idea how I spilt soda into that case. Anyhow, I took it back and he still allowed me to sell it for God knows what reason. Probably the only thing that came of this story, other than me getting to sell the game, is that me and that clerk have a story to tell for the rest of our lives. This is irradiating like 2002 vibes. This one comes from Girl Gamers. What are your creepiest, weirdest, trashiest experience with gamer guys? Dudes, be nicer to gamer women. Gamer women, you're so strong. Okay. outside the standard request for pics, nudes, Facebook link, or kitchen jokes, or the guys that won't take no for an answer and make new characters slash accounts when you block and report them, here's a few things that stand out. Back in Vanilla WoW, I was in a PvP guild with a husband, wife, and the husband's brother. The wife went ballistic on me one day for slutting it up with her husband and brother-in-law. I'd been healing them in battlegrounds. Fuck me. I imagine it's like you're playing Overwatch or something, and Cassie's like, hey, I need healing. And then Mercy rolls over and is like, yeah, I got you. And then, like, May's like, turned out the wife had been cheating on the husband for roughly a year with someone she met in game, was trying to use me as an excuse to leave him. The brother was his own special snowflake. I finally convinced my female roommate to get on voice chat with us. Sometime later in the evening, the brother dragged my roommate into a private channel and her headset goes flying and she storms out of the room. Yep, he felt like fapping and apparently decided she'd enjoy listening. When I asked how the he thought that was appropriate, well, she's single and sounds cute and I know you're in a relationship. Okay, being single is apparently the only requirement for ear rape. Got it. Did I mention that the guy was also married with a 10-year-old son that was in the guild? I noped the away from that entire group. Oh my god. Another WoW guild, this time late in the TBC days, the Burning Crusade, for those of you who, have sex. The GM decides he likes me. Apparently he's a drug dealer, and to impress me he's going to tell me in graphic detail the threesome he just had with 2 girls in exchange for coke. Then ask me if I wanted to trade sex for coke. The logical solution there. And I reminded him again that I had no interest in him, I was in a relationship, and really had no interest in any mind-altering substances. He told me he was going to come down and murder my boyfriend, and we would live happily ever after. The scary bit was that he somehow knew what town I lived in. He was an admin over our guild website and found my old MySpace profile from my email address. Learned a valuable lesson: keep your social media locked down and on a separate email. Ended up server transferring after that and luckily found a 21 plus guild with emotionally stable people, many of which I'm still friends with. I'm happy that had a happy ending, but me, dude. It's just, I don't want to trash on WoW. I used to play it a lot, but like, I have a couple very good friends who still play it. They're awesome people. It breeds some of the worst people too. Or maybe it just attracts them. I don't think it creates them. I think their parents create them. Once upon a time, while playing Duck Game. What is Duck Game? Are we talking like Duck Hunt? Oh, that seems cool, I guess. It's like a brawl kind of thing. Okay, that's cool. Whatever. Sorry, total tangent. So once upon a time, while playing Duck Game, I got into a lobby with 4 people. One of them left after 2 rounds. There was only me, the host, and that player I will be talking about. It was a standard match, nothing standing out of bounds of normality until, well, let's just say that this guy we're talking about didn't play at all. I hate that saying because it reminds me of the Milady guys. He was just standing in place and wrote strange messages, some of which are described later. He had a dinosaur hat and did nothing but tell strange things in chat. He said anything he could say. He talked about some stories that his grandmother told him. He talked about a man who stole his father's car. Listen, I'm a yapper too, I get it. I can clearly remember the message that caught me the most out of... What? I can clearly remember the message that caught me the most out of other middles that he wrote. A man stole my father's car. My family was in grief because we cannot get another car. Seems like he was poor. But not to worry, this man will never steal cars from other people ever again. He met him. When the match has ended, he said that his grandmother told him that the end is coming and everything will soon be not to worry about. He laughed. I was concerned on his words, stunned. I met him later the same day in another lobby. I asked him what he was talking about last time. Yes, you're right. The end is coming. My grandmother never lies. 27th of November. Remember the 27th of November. Soon my words will come true. And with that, I will eradicate from current existence. And he left the lobby. That was by far the most creepy encounter of mine 3 years ago by now, but still, I freak out every November 27th. What if that dude was right, though? Like, what if the world ends on November 27th and his grandmother was a f***ing prophet? And this guy's like, what is the best way to reach the people? I can be the new Messiah. He's like, of course. Duck Game. Okay, I feel weird. I want to do let me see if I can find a serious and happy story to finish this off. Not really a creepy encounter, but certainly a life-changing one. When I was playing Rocket League on Xbox over voice chat, the guy, he sounded he was about 17, 18 years old, I was playing against, started cussing me out before I even hit the ball. I just assumed he was having a really bad day, so I just went on about the game and ended up winning. This guy got really upset, and I mean really upset. He started crying, and I kind of felt bad, so I invited him to my party to see what was going on with him. I had a really long, deep chat that lasted a few hours with the stranger about how he was getting bullied, like brutally bullied, and how his parents practically kicked him out of the family. I tried to make him feel better, but he couldn't stop crying when I heard a gunshot. Good Christ. My heart sank. I thought this guy just shot himself, but he didn't. He said that his thoughts were extremely dark and killing himself felt like the best option, but he said that talking to me made him feel the tiniest bit better, just to stop himself from doing the unthinkable. That made me cry, so now we're both crying. I friended him and we talked every day until things started getting brighter for him. I told him to talk to his family and try to straighten things out, and it worked. He left his headset on so I could hear the whole 3 hours of him making up with his family, and he moved to school where he made better friends who are really nice people. I ended up friending them too. As a thank you to me for stopping him from unaliving himself, he offered to buy me something, but I rejected his offer. I didn't help him for material gain. I helped him so he would make it to his adult life. That got really emotional for me just typing that. That was my weirdest, yes, best encounter with a person online. That's very sweet and incredibly unheard of. I can tell you, if I've ever been cussed out in a game, I just block them. I have never once thought, hey, maybe they're having a bad day. I should see if they need to talk. And that's on me. This person, Hephaestus, is me. Okay, so the Greek god Hephaestus is a good f***ing guy. Like a soul, a good soul. And like, as somebody who's been through that gauntlet of mental health, I mean, like, hey, ding, no focus. Okay. There are times where, like, if somebody like this Redditor had reached out to me, I feel like things would have ended up a lot better. So that's a really nice read. All right, so that I think concludes it. This episode of Six sells out. Hey, there's a series name right there. That ends this episode of Six Sells Out. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Comment if you like. I'd like to know like some of your horror stories, you know? Maybe I'll read through them for the next video. Could be fun. Take it easy. Remember to tell your mom you love her, or I will. Six is out. Bye. Wah!